We are being heavily penalised as landlords.
Why should landlords be subject to more taxes than other people making other kinds of investment?
What makes a good landlord then?
Kindness and empathy.
What makes a good tenant?
Rent.
Landlords have been getting a real kicking recently from lefties who are jealous of all the cash they're making. Well, I want in. I'm at the National Landlord Investment Show to find out how I can make a sweet mill. James, are you a landlord?
I am, yes.
How big's your portfolio?
4 properties.
How big's your portfolio?
I have a portfolio of 8 properties up in Lincoln.
I have over 10 properties.
15.
5 in Yorkshire and 10 down south.
Only half a dozen properties.
Only half a dozen.
First property I bought was £16,000.
In 2000 it was relatively easy.
How long ago was this? What sort of time?
Some 20 odd years ago, around about 2004, 5, 6, I can't remember exactly.
Oh dear, it's so difficult today, it really is. Prices are ridiculously high. The margins are just not there. You just can't get the percentages that you could get back then.
First time buy-to-let investor, one piece of advice you could give them, what would you say?
At the moment, don't do it for tax reasons.
What I would advise anybody to do, and it's certainly youngsters, is to go up north because there's a lot of money to be made up there.
If you're lucky, then it's a very easy stream of income. If you're lucky, you'll buy something, it'll just go up in value, you'll get a good tenant in there, a decent person who has no problem with their employment, they'll pay the rent again and again and again, and you won't have any issues.
The crucial thing is to make sure that you get them in the right place. I do have a bunch of properties in an area of Doncaster which would have been frankly a downright mistake because they are constantly being vandalised and neither the police nor the council are able to do anything about it, or seem to be willing to do anything about it.
We're looking to work with sellers that need to sell quickly, so they could potentially offer us a lower price. So if you can find the property for a lower price and you can add value, then obviously you're forcing capital and you're making money immediately.
What sort of situation does someone typically want to sell a house quickly in?
It's more common than you think. Typically, someone want to sell their property and they will go to an estate agent. Sometimes, unfortunately, people will get themselves into debt. They might have missed mortgage payments, especially post-COVID, which is unfortunate. So this is potentially a new service where they can sell really quickly, potentially get some out of debt, and it can be a win-win for the purchaser, the investor, ourselves, or one of our clients, and the seller.
What makes a good landlord then?
Kindness and empathy.
And you describe yourself as such?
I would definitely say that I'm that sort of guy, yeah.
And in terms of being a tenant, what makes a good tenant?
Rent.
Now, this first property that I've got was a very good example. The tenants keep the property immaculately. I never have a problem. They've never been late in their payment of rent. As a kind of reward for that, I've virtually never put their rent up. I think they're still paying the same rent they were in 2013.
I've always tried to be fair with my tenants, but that is probably, it might be a bit of a mistake because some of the more beastly people seem to do better than I have.
One of the co-sponsors of the event is less tax for landlords.
Yes.
Do you agree with that sentiment that landlords should pay less tax?
Of course I do.
Because you are one.
Because I am one.
Do you think landlords are sort of undervalued in our society then?
Yeah, I do, and I understand why, because sometimes there's landlords out there which are terrible. That brings a bad reputation for everyone, but it shouldn't mean that the good ones carry that burden as well. So for me, we need people, more property people in politics, to make the right decisions with the right people at the right times.
Why should landlords be subject to more taxes than other people making other kinds of investment? If I was to invest money in arms companies and tobacco companies, why is that better for tax-wise? Why should I be paying less tax for that than I am for a landlord? You want to encourage more people to be a good landlord, right? Everybody needs rental flats. It's important they have them. So you want to encourage them, not push people away. You want to make sure that everything's of a good quality, and so some kind of MOT type check on a property, I'm up for that. But don't tax people out of the system. You need landlords, and keep an eye on your landlords and the system will work better.
I think we are being heavily penalised as landlords, heavily penalised. There's not much left in it now for us.